Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another edition of Before I Go Wrong. Not where I went wrong, but before I go wrong. So in this video, I'll be doing, I guess, a preview of UFC Fight Night, Krylov versus Spann. So these aren't my actual predictions. Well, a lot of these probably will be my end predictions, but all of these are my end predictions. Like last week, William Knight was on my Before I Go Wrong, but then my actual prediction was, what's his face? Prashno by decision. So these are just my pre-predictions. Probably like 1 or 2, 3. These might change, but for the most part, this probably gonna be my predictions, or at least my picks. Then my prediction gonna give the fighter and the method, but it's most likely just gonna be just the pick. The method like might be in there, might not be in there. But yeah, with this one, let's go. So let's just start off. First fight we have in the bantamweight division, we got Jose Johnson versus Garrett Armfield, and I gotta go Jose Johnson here. I feel like I don't like Jose Johnson's takedown defense. He got taken down like I don't know, too many times. I mean, one of these fights he got taken down like last fight he got taken down like 6 times. I think his fight when he was on Contender Series, he got taken down like 12 times. But I like his takedown defense, but I do like the fact that he like a whole foot taller than Armfield. He like, and I feel like he has much more talent than Armfield. That's my main issue with Jose Johnson is the takedown defense. But I don't see Armfield as this great wrestler or anything, or this great grappler or anything like that. And I feel like Jose Johnson finishing ability in the grappling is much higher. I feel like he's a much better striker, and I feel like his length will cause him Armfield issues. If you don't submit him, I feel like he probably still outworks from bottom. Even on his Contender Series fight, he really outworked his opponent a lot from off his back. So yeah, he could in the clinch off his back with all that length. Even Armfield will be in top position. I feel like Johnson could be doing submissions, locking him up, hitting with elbows on the head and stuff. And I most likely see him get him out by submission, but even in this decision, I think Jose Johnson can take that one. So right there, I got Jose Johnson as of right now. Well, that's not changing. I'm going Jose Johnson, and that's not changing. But hey, that's a free pick right there. But all these picks free though. As far as any, I'll be charging for picks. Only thing I would say is bets. That's where the charge kind of comes in as of right now. But yeah, future stuff. Well, current stuff. But anywho, on to the next one. We have in the bantamweight division, the women's bantamweight division, we got Haley Cowan versus Alan Perez. And I really don't know how to feel about this one. I haven't even looked into this one, to be honest, but I'm on to throw a random prediction out here right now. So this definitely probably be one that might change. Haley Cowan looks okay. She looks decent in the clinch. She got some decent little wrestling technique in there. Don't look like no particular phenomenal fighter. I feel like Alan Perez could definitely upset, probably a minor upset her. Could definitely pull out in this one. I don't think Alan Perez is as bad as she looked. I just feel like her style is she ends up in the clinch a lot, and she was going against judoka. So this was a bad stylistic match, but Edgar is underrated, so it ended up the way it probably should have ended up in that fight. But I don't think Haley Cowan is as good in the clinch is Eryk is. But anywho, she's good in the clinch. I feel like better than Perez. But I think Perez is probably a better, heavier striker, probably a physically stronger fighter. But I'm gonna go Haley Cowan as of right now to get a decision victory over Perez. Probably exploiting the fact that Perez does a lot of times, fall into the clinch, and then she's gonna going in there again, going in there yet again with someone who's good in the clinch and can exploit her tendency to end up falling into the clinch and have better technique in the clinch. Yeah. So as of right now, Haley Cowan, but that one's probably highly likely to change because I don't feel no real confidence Haley Cowan like that. Then the next one we have in the lightweight division, Nurilo Aliev versus Raphael Alves. And Nurilo Alves looks like a typical kind of grappler-based fighter. I don't think he looks like all that impressive on the feet, but kind of take you down, control you, and maybe pound you out. You're going to get with Raphael Alves. Raphael Alves kind of that explosive fighter. He's kind of solid everywhere. Definitely got some power, got some jiu-jitsu and stuff. So he's not an easy out, and especially for somebody who's grappling focused, at least into the later rounds. But I feel like you got to be a pretty well-rounded fighter to give him issue. You can't just go out there, I'm going to get an easy takedown and lay on him. So that's definitely one to change. But as of right now, I'm probably going Nurilo Aliev. Well, I'm going Nurilo Aliev. I said, I'm combining names. Nurilo Aliev is it right now. Just like the fact he's undefeated. Like the fact that he does look pretty solid. I think he'll make the adjustments needed to beat Raphael Alves. But definitely this is not no pick that's set in stone as of right now because Raphael Alves definitely has a good chance to win this one right here. But yeah, liking the real Alves Aliev is it right now, but not set in stone at all. And this will go to the next one because I haven't really got much to say about that one. Next one we got in the lightweight division, Joe Selecki versus Carl Deaton III. I'm just gonna call him Carl Deaton versus Joe Selecki. And this one, Deaton is smaller. it seems like he's prone to getting grappled up, and he's going there with Joe Selecki. So I feel like Joe Selecki should be able to go out there and get it done in the distance, like either first or second round submission. Probably first. Well, I'm gonna say first round submission for Selecki. So that's like not a solidified prediction. Probably gonna shift to the second round, but right now, regardless, I'm gonna say like submission. Joe Selecki going with a guy who's smaller than him and don't have the skill, and definitely lacking in the grappling to the extent that Selecki has. Or Selecki has a clear edge in the grappling. Should use that size and should be at a a good matchup for him to bounce back on. So, well, he already coming off a win, but it wasn't the most impressive win. It was very close, and a lot of people feel he lost that one, but it's the win. He come back, look good, and knock some rust off and look good again. Yeah, so right now going Joe Selecki. Matter of fact, I'm not picking against Joe Selecki. I don't think in that one. That's not changing. Unless I hear he lost a limb or something, caught a rare illness, caught a heart virus like he Goku or something. I ain't picking against Joe Selecki there. Look like a pretty easy, here's a gift. Y'all want some money? It's better $1,000. That's better than your average investment, which you're gonna get 10% back on. It's probably gonna be like -700. So you're gonna get a little bit better than 10%. So instead of put that in the bank, put that on Selecki. Easy money. Free money. And now to the next one we have in the flyweight division, Odie Osborne versus Charles Johnson. Got to go Charles Johnson here. I feel like Osborne is a pretty solid fighter. I think he's the more well-rounded fighter, but I can't trust his pace. I feel like he kind of dips off after maybe the first round and a half. I feel like Charles Johnson, the more cleaner striker. I feel like Osborne is more so this explosive. Like his life is success works off being explosive, not like clean technique all the time. Like he has little moments, but for the most part, it's about being fast, jumping, exploding, kicking, explosive moments. Whereas Charles Johnson has got a real slick defense, good boxing fundamentals. And he don't need to be explosive because his technique is clean, so he don't need the explosive to make things happen. And he can just sit you there, walk you down, keep his hands high, just pop you with a jab, clean technique. Whereas Osborne, he has the force, stretch, extend, and that's another reason why it probably lends the fact that he does get tired, even as a flyweight, because a lot of stuff leading to being explosive. So I feel like his wrestling could, and like his overall skill set could be an issue maybe through the first round, but I don't see much more than that. And I feel like ultimately Johnson's gonna be the cleaner, more fundamentally sound fighter. And I don't think he'll have no great issue with Osborne wrestling. I feel like Osborne's wrestling could be a factor, but I don't see it being a big factor over the course of 3 rounds, maybe through 1 round, barely even that. But ultimately, I feel like Johnson can maybe defend the takedown, get up when needed. And also, like, it's not like Osborne's some amazing jiu-jitsu guy, so he can take you down, but what he gonna do with you down there? So Johnson could probably just pop right back up and get back up. And he's been working on the area, so he should be able to defend the takedowns, address the wrestling relatively easily, no issue there. On feet, just be the cleaner, more fundamental striker, and can likely get him out in the distance. All of Osborne's losses have been stoppage, a submission loss, and like 2 TKO, KO losses. So looking like Johnson in the distance, going to be some good money there. Is it going to be a lock as far as in distance? No, but I feel like that's a set in stone pick. I'm going to pick Johnson. It's the more fundamentally sound and cleaner composed technician out there. All right, to the next one we have in the lightweight division, Jordan Levitt versus Victor Martinez. And with this one, going Jordan Levitt, I seen Victor Martinez going against much lesser guys, giving his backup and in deep chokes. Got heart for sure. Definitely got the better hands, but definitely have not fought the same level of competition. And definitely has, as a striker. He's not a grappler. He's more so a striker. And that's, like I said, I seen him fight much lesser guys and have his back taken, rear knuckle choke sunk in, but he managed to survive. But going with Levitt, I think Levitt's going to be able to get that submission on him. Don't know which round. I'm not picking a round just yet, but got to go Jordan Levitt. I feel like he should win that one. I think the biggest issue with Levitt is how weird and awkward his striking is. And that could lead to opportunities for opponents to beat you. And also not having the best offensive takedowns. But it's not like he's going there with some super stud. I don't think Martinez is no stud or anything. At best, he might get a win over here, but I don't see him going much farther. I feel anytime in the UFC, he starts fighting anybody any bit decent that has an okay bit of well-rounded skill set, I think that he'll be easy, free money for a lot of people. With Levitt, he's not free, easy money, but I don't feel like I can lean anywhere but Levitt in that one. I don't feel like there's no real move room. Like, oh, this guy got this guy got that. He's okay. He got some clean little boxing, but nothing super phenomenal or stand out to cover up the fact that he is a shorter kind of guy and he don't really have the skills like that in the overall. So he like I said, maybe beyond Levitt, he's literally like food, or a little bit above Levitt's level. He's food for anyone else. I'm not saying everyone in the lightweight division, but where Levitt is in the UFC, just a little bit above him and beyond, he's food, easy money. But Levitt should be maybe high confidence, maybe average. Don't think low confidence, but at Levitt he probably should lose that one. Next fight we have in the women's flyweight division, Gabriella Fernandez versus Jasmine Jasudavicius, and this is another fight where it's not really a whole lot of tape, and it's like, oh my gosh, I know so much because I looked into this. Like, it's really not a whole lot to draw off. Definitely Jasmine Jasudavicius got more tape on her because obviously she was in the Contender Series. I think she had like 2 or 3 fights in the UFC. Gabriella Fernandez, you mostly kind of get highlight reels of her and a little this, little that. You're not really getting much on her. I don't see her as having this grappling background. I think she's more of the striking background. Vicky's kind of similar. I think Gabriella Fernandez does have more power on her, and I'm kind of leaning to the potential for her to do something different. I feel like we kind of know who Jasmine Jasudavicius is right now. But hey, this is definitely a toss-up fight. And I feel like going to be a low confident pick because again, I don't know who Gabriella Fernandez. This is a fight for me to get to know who Gabriella Fernandez. This is not a fight where I know who she is and this and that. But I felt maybe her power would be the edge, and I don't feel like Jasmine Jasudavicius. She changed in wrestling pretty okay, but I don't think it's gonna be no big factor in this fight. It's probably gonna be a case of come down to power and damage, or which it will be affected more the volume of the Vicus or the power of Fernandez. I'm going to lean to the power of Fernandez is it right now. Again, probably low confidence on Fernandez to get it done. Maybe this fight gets closer, maybe I might say it's a stoppage, but all it's looking like to me like a decision where you kind of pick the damage or the volume. It's going to be like a coin flip. And the odds going to reflect coin flip. Unless, I don't know, somebody else come in there with some stuff like, I started training with this person, that person, all of a sudden things start to change. But yeah. Also might add you some more confidence to Fernandez, the fact that Jasmine Jasudavicius has been training with Johanna. I think she's been training with Johanna, but I feel like anytime a woman says she's training with Johanna, I feel like they lose. So a superstition right there, probably gonna lose. But not enough to really ride off. But hey, there's something to add in there to give you that little bit of extra confidence, but not to ride off of. Yeah. Now to the next fight we have in the lightweight division, Eryk Gonzalez versus Trevor Peek, and I gotta go Trevor Peek here, and I'm pretty confident in this one. Gonzalez don't really have any true skills. He's not a clean striker. Barely got any grappling. He's okay. I mean, he got the heart. He wants to do it and stuff. Good on him. Not saying he's a bad person or this and that, but I just don't think he's the greatest fighter. Don't think he's UFC caliber. Never thought he was UFC caliber. Trevor Peek, I don't feel like he's all that UFC caliber either. But again, Gonzalez don't have no real true skills. Trevor Peek don't really got no true skills as of yet, but he has shown pretty solid takedown defense. I think he's the cleaner technical striker between the two. Definitely the more sturdy chin on him. He got a block head. He got heavy hands. And you get 2 guys that's maybe not the most technical, cleanest fighters. They're going to end up in a trade war. Lean to the guy that got the block head and the heavy hands. Like, take it to the streets. Like, when it's the 2 untechnical fighters, lean to the bigger man. When we start adding technique in there, lean to the more technical guy if they relatively in size. So 2 guys relatively the same size, lean to the blockhead. The blockhead with the heavy hands. Y'all gonna be trading. It's gonna be a barn burner. But the guy with that big chin on him, that big Drew Dober head on him, and those heavy hands, he gonna take your shots, and you're not gonna wear those shots as well as him. He gonna eat your shots. He gonna eat your shots on that Roblox head, and your little skinny head or a little soft head gonna get folded. Going like so, you don't got those intricate skills. You gonna end up playing rough fights. So yeah, it's looking like Trevor Peek in the distance. Matter of fact, the whole fight looking like in the distance. Maybe Gonzalez does show up at that fight and is able to touch Peek, or I don't know. Yeah, it's a fight. Punches are flying. It's a firefight. Anything can happen. But Trevor Peek is undefeated. Gonzalez has been knocked out several times. So, and then on top of that, again, Peek does have that rock head. So he hasn't been knocked out. He got a rock head. Gonzalez has been knocked out several times. So it's all favoring Trevor Peek. I don't really see an angle for Gonzalez, to be honest, at all. And I don't feel like his UFC experience qualifies him to say, oh, I had a UFC experience. Your UFC experience has you been getting mollywopped. Ain't been no experience like, oh, I've been looking good against guy. You might have this much of a moment in a fight. Matter of fact, all of your fights combined, you might have this much moments, but the whole majority of it is you getting mollywopped and finished. And yeah, so peeking that one, most likely in the distance by fist to face. Now to the next one we have in the welterweight division, Mike Mayotte versus Johann Lanez. And with this one, I've been liking this matchup ever since I first seen it. And now it's finally actually scheduled or set in stone until somebody gets injured or something. But yeah, I like Mike Mayotte a lot in this one. I think he can match Johann Lanez in every area of this fight. And I think the biggest advantage Mike Mayotte has in this one, or Mayotte has in this one, is the fact I felt he can go good for 3 rounds. But I feel like Johann Lanez is like a round and a half fighter is what I see. He ain't the most technical wrestler or most technical striker. I feel like he used a lot of this force with his striking, but like as I always say, every time he throw these big wide window open shots, like whole chest be ripped out, throwing hooks, be open for the whole kitchen sink. Like very sloppy hooks. His opponent be behind him, already at an angle. He still be swinging big wide hook, looping hooks. Yeah, his technique get very sloppy. His wrestling gets very sloppy. He definitely got the power. I mean, he probably well trained, but he just has a bad tendency in his technique. I feel like Mike Mayotte is the cleaner technical fighter. And again, I feel like he can match him at least through the first round, or at least hold his own with him through the first round, where Johann Lanez will probably be at his most dangerous, most power, most physical. But again, beyond that first round, I feel like Mike Mayotte should take it over, or at least that first round and a half. And I feel like he could get him out in the distance, maybe late second or third round over Johann Lanez. So I like Mike Mayotte a lot in that one. In the battle of the Canadians, I think Mike Mayotte get it done. I keep saying Mayotte, Mallet, whatever it is. But Mike Mayotte, I think he gets it done. I think he does it in the distance. Yeah. So as of right now, I got Mike Mayotte. I'm gonna say Mike Mallet winning that one. Now to the next one we have in the women's flyweight division, Tatiana Suarez versus Montana De La Rosa. And you already know, going Tatiana Suarez, the time away and such. But this is coming up. She's coming back in a match where she's fighting another wrestler who's nowhere near her level. And it's like not like Montana De La Rosa, this solid striker. Like, I'm gonna use my wrestling in reverse and stand up and strike with you. I feel like Tatiana Suarez is the better striker. I feel like she's the better wrestler for sure. Better than every year. So she's kind of coming back and fighting a lesser fighter of the same mold. So it's like it should be a stellar performance for Tatiana Suarez, and she should get her out in the distance. I'm gonna say she's gonna come back and make it a phenomenal performance. Matter of fact, she's gonna probably put second. She's gonna get that little bit of cage time in the first round, and she's gonna put her away pretty easy in the second round, probably. If not the first round. I don't know if she's the dragging you on type if you don't belong in it with her. So, but second seeming pretty juicy. So going Tatiana Suarez for sure. Lock it in. That's the pick. Method pending. Next fight we have in the heavyweight division, Augusto Sakai versus Don'Tale Mayes. And hostage right here is going Don'Tale Mayes is it right now. Definitely pick that could change, but Augusto Sakai has been getting knocked out in all his last 3 fights. Mayes did have that embarrassing performance in his last fight, but that was wrestling. And both of these guys suck at wrestling, so it ain't like no big advantage. I feel if anything, Mayes has been mixing and wrestling more. I still haven't seen Sakai even attempt to take down to my recollection. So Mayes should be the more well-rounded fighter for sure. Sakai has achieved a little bit more. And all the people he lost, I feel Mayes would lose to as well. But Mayes ain't the one who's been getting knocked out 3 fights in a row. That's a big thing to have against you. Yes, I've been fighting better guys, but you got knocked out 3 times in a row. You fought better guys, but you got knocked 3 times in a row. It ain't like you fought out there the best guys and you went to a competitive decision. You've been getting dominated like all his last 3 fights. And finished quickly too in a couple of them. Like then what knocked out in the first round by Rosenstruck. I think someone else knocked him out in the first round, and then he got like was it TKO like second round versus Spivak. But no, that's like Don'Tale Mayes here. He don't have to worry about wrestling. Sakai might have to worry about wrestling. He is a little bit chinny, probably a little bit timid, probably lacking confidence. Mayes kind of lost a close, ugly decision that I feel like he mostly lost to poor fight IQ than anything. And I think Mayes still holds a pretty good chin on himself. I don't feel like he really been getting dropped like that. I think he got hurt a couple times versus Cyril Gane way back when, but I don't feel like he takes too much damage in his fights. So, yeah, I like Mayes. I feel like he's a fresher fighter. And between the two, he has the least worst momentum. So, and he's a guy who's going to more likely mix it up. So, more likely to mix it up, riding less damage, the fresher fighter, and the fighter who I've been seeing improvements from, whereas Augusto Sakai has been the same, and I haven't seen no adjustment from him. If anything, getting worse. So, got to go Don'Tale Mayes there, and he has pretty good odds right there. So, yeah, going Mayes, probably decision. Don't see Mayes as that killer, so it's probably gonna be a decision. Probably just gonna outwork him and beat him to a decision. Probably score a couple takedowns or score a takedown in the closing of the third round and edge that one. Yeah, on to the next one we have in the middleweight division, Andre Muniz versus Brendan Allen. And I'm definitely not as high on Muniz as a lot of people are, but hey, I got to go with him in this one. Not because I feel like, oh my gosh, he's the better fighter in every area, but I did see Allen struggle in the last fight. I forget the dude's name. I was going to look it up, anything, but this is the pre-predictions, or the rough draft predictions. I ain't even going to Google it. But that little Robert Whitaker's training partner, that one dude, I forget his name right now, that's been pretty good at wrestling and controlling people. I feel he lost that fight pretty clear, but they gave it to Brendan Allen, so he's riding off that split decision energy, which is never really good in a close fight. But I do feel like Brendan Allen is clearly more well-rounded fighter, and he definitely has a shot here, and definitely has very good BJJ as well on his side. And Muniz does have questionable cardio when things aren't going easy for him. So if Allen can maybe stand him out the first round, and probably touch him with some shots on the feet, make him stand more than he wants to stand, this definitely opens up for Allen. They probably gonna have him at some odds that he should not be at. Probably gonna have him at like plus 400, which is dumb. But yeah, right in that split decision energy in a fight where he's the dog, I can't really get behind Allen fully, so I'm gonna go Muniz is a right now. And I feel it's probably the case. Give me a score takedowns, latch onto even was it Chris or Cal? Yes, Cal Doc is Cal Doc was able to have success taking him down. Like obviously he won that fight, but Cal Doc was having success taking him down. So I think Muniz should have success taking him down. And I think what's his name? He typically loses this by submission, by not submission. He typically loses by knockout. Only 2 losses were to the same training partner, Brendan Allen and Chris Curtis. So knockouts. Like I said, this is not as easy as a fight as people making out to seem. So this fight is definitely one of those fights where you can potentially lean to Brendan Allen, but Brendan Allen does have choking factors to him too. So that's again makes it hard to pick him. But at plus 400, betting wise, might be something to throw on. But prediction wise, I'm not picking him. But betting wise, he might be worth some coins throwing on. Prediction wise, I can't get behind his tendency. So I feel like he most likely gonna get submitted. But yeah, close fight on paper. But I think Muniz should be able to get him to the ground and have success on the ground, and should be able to get out in the distance, or at least be able to control him for a round and a half or 2 rounds, and maybe a sketchy 3rd round. But as of right now, I'm going Andre Muniz. I'm going Andre Muniz is all I'm saying. So on to the next one, the final one we have in the light heavyweight division, Nikita Krylov versus Ryan Spann. And as of right now, I'm going Nikita Krylov. I kind of bounce back and forth, and it's still not the final prediction. This is just the pre-prediction. This is the one that's definitely volatile as well. I like what I've seen for Ryan Spann is a recent, but again, it's still only first round, second round stuff. It ain't really, he went 3 rounds, he went 5 rounds, and looking clean, composed, sharp through 5 rounds. And even those little first round finishes, I see sloppiness and a lot of stuff he does. Like he's swinging big wide shots, he's overcommitted to all his shots he's throwing with full power. And that could just lead back to the same trend and the way he loses. Like you could come up with all the steam, but beyond that second round, your pace drops off significantly. Still chinny, etc., etc., etc. So, kind of saying Ryan Spann is still a guy that needs to get it done in the first or second round. And beyond that, I mean, he's won some decisions, but they all look very very terrible. Like he looked exhausted, look very amateurish, gasping for air, look slow and look sloppy. His opponent looked sloppy too. In that case, he won. Slow, sloppy fighters, former heavyweights and such. Like Sam Alvey fight was terrible. That I forget who he fight, former heavyweight. I think Nagano's first fight in the UFC for that dude, and like looked terrible in that fight as well. That decision, like all his decisions, like very labored and sloppy. I feel like Nikita Krylov can push his pace, and like his pacing could be a tool for him. In his chin, he hasn't been knocked out at light heavyweight. His chin holds it pretty well, and I think the only time he got TKO was when he fought a big heavyweight in Sol Pelele way back, probably when he was 24, and Pelele mounted him and knocked him out. So a big heavyweight who had very good ground and pound at the time knocked him out. And other than that, his chin has held up pretty much throughout his career. So the guy has a pretty sturdy chin, pretty durable. He can push a pace. Neither of them are the cleanest technical striker. I feel like Spann is the cleaner technician, but again, is he just a first round fighter? Beyond the first round, when things get tough, he starts to fold. Yeah, can't really get behind that as of right now. And until he shows me otherwise, but hey, he could go out there and get another first round stoppage. Like he does have the power. Krylov, you got the goodest chin you want. You get touched clean on the body, you get dropped, knocked out, you get rocked and sub. Definitely on the table for Spann, but it's like again, Spann. What happens when you don't? What happens when the fight gets out the first round and you're tired? You committed all this energy. The guy take your best shots. He's still in your face, still touching you. And Krylov been looking heavy-handed as well. His technique ain't been looking clean, all that clean, but his power has looking very. His hands have looked much heavier as of late. Look what he did is Gustafsson. You can say Gustafsson past his prime and all that, but still, the reaction he got from Gustafsson off his punches still is notable. So yeah, I feel like Krylov should be able to take his best shots, or at least deal with them, address them through the first round. Maybe a rocky first round, but beyond the first round, I feel like Krylov is money and should be the clear pick. And I feel like he could take him out of the first round and drown him, whether it be a TKO, submission, or this sloppy, this touch you some shots and just take you down and lay on you and hit you with some weak hammer fist and just a sloppy slop fest decision, or a drag you out of the first round, tough, hard nose, work rate, drown you, second, third round, submission or TKO over Spann. Probably gonna be, I don't know, I ain't gonna say it yet, but right now I gotta go Krylov. I feel he can, all I feel, to sum it up, I feel he can take what Spann has to give in the first round and drown him beyond that first round, whether it be submission, TKO, or decision. So those are my picks as of right now. My before I go wrong picks. Yeah, so that's the video. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, and come back for more videos. Peace.